Captain Aaron Voss had thought his life would be quiet after the war. The battles he had fought, the planets he had conquered or defended, were behind him now. The medals and the honors were dust in the corners of his apartment, reminders of a life that felt distant. He lived alone on Earth, in a city that hummed with ordinary life, where no one knew the battles he had survived or the people he had lost. Yet he woke every morning to the same dull routine, feeling the weight of peace pressing down on him like a prison. The message arrived one morning like a ripple across the calm pond of his existence, a strange official tone, alien symbols dancing across the holoscreen in colors that seemed to hum. He squinted at the translation that blinked into English. Captain Aaron Voss, by decree of the late King Zitharak, you have inherited his companion Karaz. He had heard stories of alien inheritances before, but this was something different. The Zitharans were a proud and secretive species, their politics sharp and unforgiving. They rarely involved humans in their affairs. And now the dead king, someone Aaron had never met, had left him a living being, a creature so feared and despised across Zitharan space that even mention of its name made their council tremble. The first thought that crossed Aaron's mind was caution. The stories were terrifying. Karaz was an alien wolf, taller than a man, covered in a coat of fur that shimmered in shades no human eye could truly describe. Its eyes, said to glow like molten gold, were rumored to pierce into the hearts of those who dared to meet them. It had intelligence beyond most Zitharans, cunning enough to outwit generals, soldiers, and spies alike. And it could speak in human language, as though mocking humanity's pride, with its eloquence and sharp wit. "Why me?" Aaron whispered aloud, staring at the message. The answer came as a notification, a shimmering holographic invitation. Travel to Zethera Prime. Claim your inheritance, or it will be reassigned. Aaron felt a shiver of excitement. He had lived his life following orders and strategy, and now, by chance or fate, he was being handed a challenge unlike any he had faced before. Within days, he found himself aboard a starship bound for Zethera Prime. The journey was long, and the stars blurred past the viewing ports like silver ribbons. Aaron spent hours staring at the void, thinking about what he might find. He had fought armies, led squads, and survived ambushes on distant worlds, but none of that prepared him for inheriting a being that combined danger, intelligence, and the disdain of an entire civilization. When he arrived, Zethera Prime unfolded beneath him like a painting of color and chaos. Towers of translucent crystal soared into the skies, and the streets shimmered with vehicles that hovered silently, powered by energy Aaron could barely comprehend. Zitharans themselves moved with grace and purpose, their expressions distant, their eyes sharp and knowing. It was a world that respected strength, intellect, and cunning above all. Aaron was escorted through the grand palace of the late king. Its halls seemed to stretch endlessly, adorned with alien art that moved and shimmered, scenes of battles and diplomacy frozen in light and sound. And then, at the heart of the palace, he saw Karaz. The wolf was more imposing than anything Aaron had imagined. It stood easily as tall as he was, its fur shifting through silver, black, and violet shades, as if reflecting the strange light of Zethera Prime, its golden eyes fixed on him, intelligent and unblinking, and for a moment, Aaron felt the weight of centuries in that gaze. "You are the human?" Karaz's voice rumbled, deep and surprisingly clear. It carried an accent that hinted at alien speech, but every word was understandable. "I have been promised to someone who understands nothing of the world I walk. Do not fail me." Aaron straightened, trying to hide the sudden tension in his chest. "I'm Aaron Voss. I've survived a lot. I think I can handle this." Karaz tilted its head, ears flicking with interest. "Many have said that before. Few survive long in my company. And you? You smell of war and fear, but also of... Perhaps that is why the king chose you." The wolf padded closer, each step deliberate, heavy, and silent at the same time. Its gaze did not waver from Aaron, and with each step, Aaron felt the hum of alien power vibrating through the floor. He realized that Kara's was more than muscle and fur. It was a mind capable of understanding strategy, of seeing motives, of sensing danger before it arrived. "You will learn quickly," Karas continued, voice calm yet commanding. "I do not bend, I do not obey without reason, and I do not forgive weakness. If you cannot lead, if you cannot command, you will be nothing more than prey. And yet, if you survive, if you can match me, we may achieve something beyond even your imagination." Aaron swallowed. He had faced death countless times, but this was different. This was not an enemy to be defeated, but a companion to be earned. "Then I suppose we start learning," he said. The first days were a test. Karas did not speak much beyond sharp observations, but its presence alone was a constant challenge. It refused food at first, moving with the precision of a predator who considered every human gesture suspect. Aaron had to think, adapt, and observe. He discovered patterns in its behavior, learned to read its subtle movements, and found that patience often yielded more results than force. At night, when the city lights of Zythera Prime reflected on the crystal towers, Aaron and Karas began to talk. The wolf shared stories of the king, of wars that spanned centuries, of rebellions crushed and civilizations reshaped. Aaron listened, fascinated, realizing that in Karas's words was a history no human academy could ever teach. Yet, despite the awe, Aaron felt the tension of expectation. Karas was hated for its defiance. Many Zitherans feared it. Soldiers who had once obeyed it reluctantly now avoided its gaze entirely. And here he was, a human, tasked with carrying that legacy forward. It was dangerous, unpredictable, and thrilling. One evening, as Aaron walked beside Karas along the edge of a crystal canyon overlooking the city, the wolf spoke again, softer this time. "You will need more than courage. You will need cunning. Humans are fragile, yes, but fragile things often survive because they adapt. You have that gift, Captain Voss. Do not squander it." Aaron smiled, a small, wry smile. "Then teach me, Karas. I'm ready to learn." The wolf's golden eyes glimmered, almost approvingly. "Good." Then the first lesson begins, not with battle, not with strength, but with understanding. Observe me, watch the world as I do. Learn its patterns, and never forget. Trust is earned, not given. "And you, human, must earn mine before we truly walk together." In the days that followed, Aaron began to see Karas in a new light. It was not just a wolf, not just a weapon. It was a mind, a partner, a reflection of everything humanity could be in the face of an alien universe. Cunning, brave, and unyielding. Every day brought new challenges, tests that pushed him to think faster, move smarter, and understand the subtle rhythms of an intelligence that had seen centuries. He began to respect Karas, not out of fear, but because he saw its value, its loyalty, and its unspoken code of honor. And slowly the first threads of companionship began to weave between human and wolf. They were two very different beings, from two very different worlds. Yet there was a spark of something ancient and undeniable, a partnership born not from force, but from understanding. Aaron knew that this was only the beginning. The galaxy was wide, full of threats and opportunities. And now he carried a companion whose very existence defied the rules of the universe. Together they would walk a path that neither humans nor Zitherans had dared to imagine. And somewhere deep in the back of his mind, Aaron realized that perhaps, just perhaps, the despised wolf and the human veteran could change more than just their own fates. They could change the galaxy itself. For the first time in a long while, Aaron felt alive. Aaron woke before the first light of Zythera Prime touched the crystalline towers. The city below was quiet, its alien glow reflecting off the pale dawn, and Karas's was already pacing near the balcony, ears twitching and golden eyes scanning the horizon. The wolf's body moved with a precision that was almost unnatural, each step deliberate. Muscles coiled like springs ready to launch. Aaron rubbed his eyes and stepped beside the creature. "You never sleep, do you?" he asked, though he already knew the answer. Kara's tilted its head. "Sleep is a weakness I can afford. You, however, need it. You are human, after all, and fragile in ways you do not yet understand." Aaron sighed. He had survived countless missions, navigated ambushes, and stared down enemies who could have killed him in an instant. Yet this alien wolf challenged him in ways he had never imagined. It was not just strength or speed that made Karas formidable. It was intelligence, cunning, and a mind that analyzed his every move. The first lessons began with observation. Karas led Aaron through the palace gardens where plants glowed faintly, their bioluminescence pulsing in rhythm with some unknown energy. The wolf's sharp senses detected danger in every movement, the subtle shifts of wind, the almost imperceptible vibrations of distant machinery, even the faint hum of surveillance devices hidden in the ground. "Watch carefully," Karas said. "Most Zytherans will miss the smallest details. Humans see only what they expect to see. Learn to see beyond expectation." Aaron crouched, mimicking Karas's stance, trying to absorb the lessons without seeming clumsy. Every twitch of the wolf's ears, every flick of its tail, told a story. Aaron realized that what seemed like instinct was actually calculation, a constant analysis of environment, movement, and potential threats. "You are slow," Karas said, its voice almost teasing. "Your mind works too linearly. But perhaps there is potential. Adaptability, creativity, these are human strengths. Use them?" Aaron gritted his teeth. "Then I'll adapt. Just don't expect me to be perfect immediately." Karas's eyes glinted. "Perfection is not required. Survival is. And if you survive with me, you will learn more than any academy could teach you." The days passed in a blur of training, observation, and small adventures across Cythera Prime.
Aaron learned to move like Karas, silent and deliberate, listening to the subtle currents of energy in the city, the faint hum of vehicles that hovered above the ground, the soft vibrations of machinery that indicated movement in distant corridors.
But it was not just observation that Karas demanded. The wolf tested Aaron constantly, setting challenges that seemed absurd at first. One morning, it led him to a narrow bridge spanning a canyon of shimmering crystal. The bridge was thin, and the winds howled fiercely. "Cross," Karas said, voice calm but firm, without hesitation, without fear, without doubt. Aaron hesitated. The canyon below reflected the rising sun, creating dizzying patterns of light and shadow. One wrong step, and he would fall to certain death. But he knew Karas would not allow him to fail. The wolf's eyes locked on his, and Aaron felt a surge of determination. He stepped forward, one foot, then the other, feeling the balance of the bridge beneath him. The wind tugged at his jacket, and the dizzying reflection of the canyon played tricks on his eyes, but he kept moving. With Karas beside him, silent and steady, Aaron felt an unusual kind of courage, the kind that did not come from armor, weapons, or strategy, but from trust and understanding. When he reached the other side, Karas's tail flicked once, a subtle sign of approval. "Not bad," the wolf said.
"Not bad at all. Humans are fragile."
"But you are resilient. Remember that." As the sun climbed higher, Aaron began to notice Karas's other abilities. The wolf could track movements that were invisible to him, detect energy signatures, and anticipate danger before it arrived. Aaron marveled at the coordination, the foresight, the almost supernatural awareness. Yet even with these abilities, Karas was not invincible. It respected skill, cunning, and human creativity, and that respect grew as Aaron learned to complement the wolf's strengths. One evening, Aaron found himself in a quiet courtyard, the alien sky above painted in shades of violet and gold. He and Kara's were alone, save for the faint hum of distant machinery. The wolf's ears twitched as it spoke. "Tell me, human, what do you see?" Aaron looked around. The gardens, the crystal towers, the faint glow of the city. Everything was beautiful, alien, and yet strangely familiar. "I see possibilities," he said. "Patterns. Opportunities. Danger, too, but also potential. Not, if you know where to look." Karas's golden eyes narrowed slightly. "Good. You are learning. Humans have a strength that even we cannot fully measure. Imagination. The ability to find solutions where none seem to exist. That is why you survive, and why you may yet thrive." Aaron smiled faintly. "Then teach me more." The wolf's gaze softened, almost imperceptibly. "Very well. There is more to survival than observation and adaptation. There is strategy, improvisation, and the courage to act when others hesitate. Tomorrow we test that." The next day, Karas led Aaron into the outskirts of the city where abandoned training fields and empty zones were scattered like forgotten relics.
"There will be a trial," the wolf explained. "A simulation of conflict.
You must navigate it, anticipate, and survive. I will observe, but I will not interfere unless necessary." Aaron felt a rush of excitement. He had trained soldiers, led squads into hostile territory, and survived ambushes. But this was different. This was a test not just of skill, but of intellect, creativity, and synergy with an alien mind. The trial began. Holographic enemies sprang to life, sensors and traps activated, and Aaron had to move quickly, adapting to shifting dangers. Karas followed silently, analyzing, occasionally giving hints but never directly intervening. Aaron realized that he was not just learning to survive, he was learning to think, like Karas, to anticipate, to understand the flow of battle in ways humans rarely did. Hours passed in a blur of movement, strategy, and quick thinking. Aaron dodged, adapted, and improvised, using his human ingenuity to overcome obstacles that even Karas admitted were clever. When the trial ended, sweat covering his face, muscles aching, Aaron stood victorious. Karas's eyes glowed faintly in approval. "You are improving," the wolf said. "Not because I allow it, but because you have the mind to learn. Humans are fragile, yes, but your kind can bend the universe with determination and creativity. Never forget that." As the days turned into weeks, Aaron and Haras grew closer. Trust, once elusive, began to form between them. The wolf's sharp criticisms became more tempered, its observations less harsh. Aaron began to see that Karas's reputation as a despised creature was not for cruelty, but for defiance and independence. It was a mind unwilling to submit blindly, a spirit that demanded respect, and a power that few could comprehend. Aaron understood that if he could master Karas, learn from it, and earn its loyalty, he would gain not just a companion, but a partner capable of facing challenges beyond human imagination. The wolf was more than a creature. It was a key to understanding alien civilizations, to navigating politics, and perhaps to shaping the galaxy itself. One night, as the twin moons of Zathira Prime rose high, casting silver light across the city, Karas spoke softly. "You have done well, human. You learn quickly, and you survive. But the galaxy is wide, and not all will welcome us. You must remember your strengths, your ingenuity, and your courage. The challenges ahead will test everything you are, and yet I believe you will endure." Aaron nodded, feeling a surge of determination. "Then we face them together," he said. Karas's eyes gleamed like molten gold. "Together. Yes, but remember, I am not tamed. I am not yours. We walk as allies, not masters and servants. If you forget that, you will fail." Aaron smiled faintly, a mixture of respect and challenge in his eyes. I wouldn't have it any other way. And so, the human and the alien wolf began a partnership that neither had expected. Through lessons, trials, and shared understanding, Aaron discovered that survival was more than strength or courage. It was intelligence, adaptability, and trust. And Kara's, despised by many, found in Aaron a human worthy of walking beside him. Together they would face the galaxy, its challenges, and its dangers, proving that humans were not to be underestimated. Aaron Voss, the human army veteran, and Karas, the despised alien wolf, were no longer separate entities. They were a force, a team, a story that would ripple across worlds, and the first chapter of that story had only just begun. The lessons were hard, the challenges constant, and the world alien. Yet Aaron felt alive, sharper, and more capable than ever before. He realized that survival was not just about enduring, it was about thriving, learning, and embracing the unknown. And somewhere deep inside, he knew that this was only the beginning. Aaron had begun to feel a rhythm to life on Zethera Prime, a balance between learning from Karas and exploring the limits of his own capabilities. But peace was fragile. He could sense the tension long before the formal warning arrived. The Zithran Council, guardians of the galaxy's most rigid laws, did not take lightly the presence of a human in partnership with Karas, the wolf despised across their civilization. The warning came in the form of a message delivered by a hovering emissary, sleek and silent. The words were brief, cold, and precise. Captain Aaron Voss, you are warned. Karas is a matter of state concern. Your cooperation is requested. Resistance will be met with force. Aaron read the message aloud to Karas in the dim light of their quarters. The wolf's ears flicked, and it let out a low, rumbling sound that was almost like a laugh. They are sending soldiers, Kara said. They do not believe a human can control me, foolish creatures. Yet they are cautious. That is wise. Aaron leaned back in his chair, feeling a mixture of excitement and tension. Then we need to prepare. If they want to fight, they'll get one. But we'll do it our way. The following days were a whirlwind of preparation. Aaron and Karas trained, strategized, and explored the city's hidden networks. Karas's knowledge of Zithran technology, security systems, and political dynamics became invaluable. Together they devised tactics that relied not on brute force, but on surprise, adaptability, and human intuition. Aaron discovered that humans had an advantage that few Zitherans could anticipate: unpredictability. The Council had grown accustomed to thinking in patterns, in probabilities calculated over centuries. Aaron thought differently, improvising in ways the aliens could not predict, and Karas, for all its intelligence, could anticipate but not fully control the improvisation of a human mind. The first confrontation came one evening as the twin moons of Zethera Prime rose over the crystalline towers. A squad of elite Zetheran operatives, clad in advanced armor and armed with energy weapons, moved through the city streets attempting to corner Aaron and Karas. Their movements were precise, silent, and coordinated, a testament to centuries of military refinement. Kara's ears twitched. They are here, it said. Do not hesitate. We strike only when necessary, but we strike with precision. Aaron nodded, feeling a thrill he had not felt since his army days. Then let's do this. The battle began not with fire, but with shadows. Aaron and Karas moved through alleyways, across rooftops, and through the labyrinthine streets of Zethera Prime, using stealth and misdirection to confuse their pursuers. Aaron marveled at Karas's ability to sense danger before it arrived, predicting the movements of the soldiers as if reading their minds. Yet it was Aaron's human creativity that turned the tide. He set traps, rerouted energy flows, and used the environment to his advantage in ways Karas could not have anticipated. Together they became a fluid unit, a combination of alien foresight and human ingenuity. One ambush nearly caught them. A squad of operatives surrounded a narrow plaza, their weapons raised, eyes glowing with targeting systems. Kara's growled, muscles coiling. Aaron's mind raced. He grabbed a discarded energy conduit and threw it across the plaza. Sparks flew as it struck a metallic wall, creating a temporary barrier of fire and light. The Zytherans hesitated, giving Karas the opening it needed. In a blur of motion, the wolf leapt, disarming 2 soldiers in a single strike, its strength and precision unmatched. Aaron followed, using quick maneuvers and improvisation to neutralize the others. When the dust settled, Aaron and Karas stood alone, unscathed, and the plaza was silent except for the faint hum of alien machinery. Karas's golden eyes glowed with approval.
"Not bad, human," it said. "Your ingenuity saved us."
Humans are fragile, yes, but in moments like this, you shine. Aaron wiped sweat from his brow and smiled.
"I told you, we're a team now. The battle was only the beginning."
News of their survival spread quickly through Zytheran networks, reaching the ears of the Council. Aaron realized that they would not relent. More forces would come, more traps would be set, and more tests of skill and intelligence awaited. Over the following days, Aaron and Karas worked tirelessly. They studied maps, analyzed patrol patterns, and developed contingency plans. Karas taught Aaron to read alien energies, anticipate movements, and use the environment as an extension of their own abilities. Aaron contributed human unpredictability, improvisation, and strategic thinking that could bend rules the Zytherans considered unbreakable. The second confrontation came in the form of a full-scale pursuit through the city's industrial district. This time, the Council had deployed heavy units, armed with energy shields and advanced tracking systems. The stakes were higher, the danger more immediate. Karas led Aaron through narrow corridors, hidden passageways, and abandoned factories, always staying one step ahead. Aaron set traps, improvised diversions, and guided Karas with signals and gestures that only the wolf could understand. The synergy between them was becoming perfect. At one point, they were cornered on a high platform overlooking a river of liquid crystal. Soldiers closed in from 3 sides, weapons raised, their eyes glowing with lethal precision. Aaron glanced at Karas, who crouched, muscles tensed, tail flicking in anticipation. "Ready?" Aaron asked. "Always," Karas replied. Aaron took a deep breath. He had an idea. Using the reflective properties of the crystal river, he angled a set of portable lights and mirrors to create illusions, making it appear as though they had vanished from the platform. The Zytherans paused, confused by the shifting reflections. Karas moved silently, striking from shadows, disabling the nearest soldiers with precise force. Aaron followed, using the confusion to disarm and disable the others. Within moments, the threat was neutralized. Kara shook its head slightly, amused. "I did not anticipate that," it admitted. "You think like a predator, not like prey. That is human." Aaron grinned. "I told you humans have their advantages." But the confrontations were more than just battles. They were lessons. Aaron began to understand Karas on a deeper level, seeing not just its strength, but its sense of honor, its code of loyalty, and its patience. The wolf did not strike without purpose, did not act without thought, and respected skill and intelligence above all. Aaron realized that Karas's reputation as a despised creature was unfair. It was not cruel, it was principled, and it valued partners who could match its intellect and determination. By the end of the week, Aaron and Karas had earned a begrudging respect from some elements of Zytheran society. Word spread that a human had survived encounters that even seasoned alien warriors feared. Aaron understood the significance. Humans were often underestimated across the galaxy, considered fragile and simple. Yet here he was, not only surviving but thriving, in partnership with a being that even Zytherans feared. One night, Aaron and Karas rested on a rooftop overlooking the city. The twin moons cast pale light across the crystalline towers, and the hum of the alien city was distant and almost peaceful. Karis's golden eyes reflected the moon's, a hint of pride in their glow.
"You have learned quickly, human," the wolf said.
"But the greatest tests are yet to come. The council will not relent.
They will seek to control, to dominate, or to destroy. And when that time comes, we must be ready." Aaron nodded. "Then we train harder. We prepare. We survive. And when the time comes, we show them what humans and wolves can do together." Haraz let out a low rumble, almost like a purr. "Yes. Together. But remember, I am not tamed."
"I am not yours. We walk as allies, equals in purpose."
"Forget that, and all will be lost." Aaron smiled, feeling the surge of determination and pride. "I wouldn't want it any other way." The battles had tested them, challenged them, and proven their skills. Yet Aaron knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of danger, politics, and unknown forces. And together, Aaron and Karis had begun to carve their own path, one that would challenge expectations, bend rules, and demonstrate the resilience, cunning, and unyielding spirit of humanity. As the night deepened, Aaron felt a quiet confidence. He and Karis were not invincible, but they were clever, adaptable, and united. They were more than a human and an alien wolf. They were a team, a force that even the Zitharan Council would struggle to ignore. And as the stars glittered above Zithera Prime, Aaron realized that the galaxy was wide, full of opportunity, and that together they could face anything. And somewhere deep inside, both human and wolf knew that the trials to come would define not just survival, but legend. Aaron stood at the edge of the crystalline cliffs overlooking Zithera Prime. The twin moons bathed the city below in pale light, making the towers shimmer like frozen fire. The air hummed with tension, and even Karas, normally calm and poised, moved with a quiet alertness. Aaron felt the weight of the coming confrontation pressing on him. The Zitharan Council had escalated their efforts. They were sending their most formidable forces not just to capture Karas, but to test him, and by extension, him.
"You can feel it too," Aaron said, glancing at the wolf. "I can feel it," Karas replied. "They are confident. They think they can control the outcome, but because they underestimate human ingenuity." Aaron nodded. That confidence, their underestimation, was humanity's greatest advantage. Humans thrived where others failed because they adapted, because they used creativity and determination when brute force fell short. And Aaron had learned from Karas that survival required not just strength or skill, but trust, timing, and cleverness. The first signs of the Council's advance appeared at dusk. Shadowy ships descended from the skies, silent and precise, landing at strategic points across the city. Their troops moved with uncanny coordination, advanced weaponry in hand, ready to strike. Yet Aaron was not afraid. He had trained for this. He had survived ambushes, infiltration, and battles that no human should have endured. And now he had Karas by his side. They began their maneuvers at once. Aaron led Karas through hidden alleyways and abandoned streets, avoiding detection while studying the Council's forces. Karas moved like a shadow, silent and lethal, its golden eyes analyzing every threat. Aaron realized that the wolf's reputation as despised and feared had been well earned. Soldiers who encountered it faltered, hesitated, and sometimes fled, unsure whether to attack or surrender. But the final confrontation would not be avoided. The Council had chosen to confront them directly, sending elite squads to corner Aaron and Karas in the central plaza, where the city's energy nodes created vast pools of glowing light. Aaron crouched behind a crystalline barrier, observing. Karas was beside him, muscles coiled, ready to strike. "They are organized," Karas said, "but organization alone is not enough." Aaron scanned the plaza. The energy nodes pulsed in rhythm, and he quickly noticed a pattern in the Council's formation. "If we can manipulate the nodes, we can create blind spots," he whispered. "You follow my lead?" "Of course,"
Kara's replied. Its tone was calm, but expectant. The wolf trusted him, and Aaron felt a surge of pride. The battle began in a flash of movement. Aaron activated the energy nodes with calculated timing, creating sudden bursts of light that disoriented the approaching squads. Karas leapt through the chaos, striking with precision and incredible strength, disarming soldiers before they could react. Aaron used his agility and quick thinking to maneuver between cover, setting traps and using the environment as a weapon. The humans and the wolf moved as one unit, anticipating each other's actions without words. Every strike, every dodge, every improvisation was coordinated perfectly. The Council's forces, despite their advanced training and technology, faltered in the face of unpredictability and strategy. At one point, a squad of elite Zitherans attempted to flank them from above. Aaron quickly assessed the situation, spotting reflective surfaces that could redirect the energy node's pulses. He shouted directions to Karas, and together they created a sudden barrier of blinding light and heat. The squad was caught off guard, giving Karas the opening to neutralize them with swift, calculated strikes. They did not expect that, Karas admitted, a faint note of amusement in its voice. You are unpredictable, human. Aaron grinned. Exactly. And that's why humans survive. The battle raged for hours. Aaron and Karas moved with fluid precision, outmaneuvering squads, avoiding traps, and exploiting every weakness. Yet it was not just physical skill that won the day. It was strategy, improvisation, and trust. Aaron had learned Karas's abilities, Karas had adapted to his creativity, and together they became more than a sum of their parts. Finally, the Council's commander arrived, a towering Zitharan with armor that shimmered like molten crystal and weapons capable of destroying entire blocks. The commander's voice echoed across the plaza. Captain Voss, the commander said, step forward and release the wolf. Your life is not worth this resistance. Karas belongs to the Council. You will obey. Aaron stepped forward, shoulders squared, and met the commander's gaze. I don't obey orders. That don't make sense, he said. Karas is not your weapon. He's not your property. He is my ally, and we choose our own path. Karas growled low in agreement, its golden eyes fixed on the commander. You underestimate us, it said, voice calm but deadly. We are not yours to command. Do you understand? The commander's expression hardened, then faced the consequences. Aaron and Karas sprang into action. The wolf moved with lethal grace, striking and dodging with uncanny precision. Aaron used his human ingenuity to manipulate the environment, creating barriers, traps, and distractions that the commander's advanced technology could not anticipate. The fight was brutal, each move a test of skill, strategy, and trust. At one point, the commander unleashed a wave of energy, a blast designed to overwhelm them both. Karas leapt, muscles coiled, catching Aaron midair and landing behind a protective barrier. Together they countered, using a combination of speed, timing, and improvisation that no single force could match. Aaron realized something crucial in that moment. Humans did not need raw power to dominate. Humans had creativity, unpredictability, and the ability to adapt instantly. Combined with Karas's strength and intelligence, they were unstoppable. With a final, coordinated strike, they defeated the commander. Aaron's trap forced the Zytheran elite to stumble, while Karas neutralized them with precision and minimal force. When the dust settled, the plaza was silent, except for the faint hum of energy nodes and Karas's low rumble. Aaron stepped forward, chest heaving, and looked at the wolf. We did it, he said, awe in his voice.
We survived, Karas corrected. And more than that, we proved something important.
Strength alone does not define victory. Intelligence, trust, and determination, these define it. The victory sent shockwaves across Scytheran society. Humans, once considered weak and fragile, had survived and defeated their most advanced forces through ingenuity and courage. Kara's once despised now stood as a symbol of resilience and partnership, showing that even the most feared beings could be allies to humanity. In the aftermath, the council reluctantly acknowledged their success. Some sought to capture or control them, but the story of the human and the wolf spread too fast. Whispers of admiration and fear rippled through the galaxy. The human who could survive anything, the wolf who could not be tamed, and the team that had defied expectation. Aaron and Karas did not seek recognition. They valued freedom above all else. Offers of alliance, positions of power, and political influence were rejected. They chose independence, exploring the galaxy on their own terms, trusting each other, and facing new challenges with the same determination and ingenuity that had carried them through the trials on Zathera Prime. As they traveled through the stars, Aaron reflected on what had changed. Humans were small, fragile, and underestimated, but they could survive, adapt, and triumph through courage, intelligence, and creativity. Kara's, powerful and feared, had found in Aaron a mind that matched its own, a partner who understood strategy, loyalty, and purpose. Together, they were unstoppable, and everywhere they went, the story of their triumph spread. Planets whispered of the human who could outthink the Zitharan Council, the wolf who could challenge centuries of authority, and the partnership that defied expectations. Children, soldiers, and leaders alike began to see humans not as fragile creatures, but as beings capable of shaping the galaxy with intellect, courage, and will. Aaron and Kara stood on the deck of their ship, gazing at a distant star. The galaxy stretched endlessly before them, full of opportunity, danger, and promise. And for the first time in his life, Aaron felt not just alive, but limitless. "This is only the beginning," he said softly. Karas's golden eyes gleamed with approval. "Yes, together we are more than legend. We are proof that humans can endure, adapt, and triumph. That is what it means to survive. That is what it means to thrive." The stars stretched before them, infinite and shining. Aaron and Kara's, human and wolf, veteran and legendary creature, had forged a path no one had imagined. And as they sailed toward the unknown, the galaxy would remember their names: Aaron Voss and Karas, the human and the wolf who proved that courage, intelligence, and partnership could bend even the hardest realities. Together, they were unstoppable. Together, they were history in the making. And together, they were just getting started.